Hey guys, and welcome back to Studio One with me, Gregor. Today we have a pretty interesting and short and sweet topic, and that is equalizers versus saturation. You can use both of these to emphasize certain sounds, either in the low, the mid, or the high frequencies to make them stand out more, similarly to how in photography you would put certain objects more into focus to make them stand out and increase the contrast. Another reason that you might want to boost certain frequencies in your sound is to increase the perceived loudness without actually increasing the volume. You might have heard of terms such as the Fletcher-Munson curve before. This basically means that certain sounds at certain frequencies have different perceived loudness, even though they don't necessarily differentiate much in level. So now that we have kind of an understanding of what boosting frequencies means and what the benefits could be potentially, let's take a look at the tools we have in Studio One that we can use to achieve that. And the two most common tools that we have available for that in Studio One are the Pro EQ and the Red Light Distortion, which is like a distortion and saturation plugin. And we're going to explore the differences using the spectrometer. I find that to be one of the most efficient ways because it gives you a visual aid that explains a little bit more about what you're hearing. So I have an empty song, a new song open here with an empty audio track, and that's it. And I'm going to go to the effects browser of Studio One, and I'm going to scroll down here and just insert the spectrometer onto my listen bus. The listen bus can be used in Studio One to insert effects that you don't want to have in your mix down and just use for auditioning, meaning monitoring purposes. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag that onto my listen bus here. And then I want to add the tone generator to this audio track with a drag and drop. And the reason I'm doing that is because the tone generator is capable of generating a sine wave, which is a very pure waveform, as you're going to see in just a moment. I'm going to put the level a little bit down because otherwise the sound is a bit annoying to you, perhaps. I'm just going to put that on. And if we check the spectrometer here, preferably in FFT curve mode, you can see what this is looking like. And it's just one single pitch, right? This makes it really easy to see any differences as soon as we try to boost something using either the Pro EQ or the Red Light Distortion. So let's take a look at the Pro EQ first. I'm going to go ahead and pin this spectrometer so that it stays open, and then take the Pro EQ here and drag that onto my audio track. Okay? And now I'm going to activate the tone generator again. And let me try and boost the high frequencies here. And you can see something is happening, but the only thing that's happening is I'm maybe increasing the noise floor a tiny bit. There's no actual harmonic content that's being added. So the Pro EQ, or any equalizer for that matter, can only boost frequencies if they're already there, if they're already contained within the sound. Then that can be amplified. But it is not capable of generating new harmonic content. Saturation, on the other hand, is a form of harmonic distortion that generates new frequencies on top of the sound. Traditionally, that used to be achieved with analog tape, analog transistors and tubes and things of that nature. And nowadays, we can just emulate that with a plugin such as Red Light Distortion inside of Studio One. So let me go ahead and disable the Pro EQ for now. I just deactivated it with a click here on the power button and go to the browser once again, scroll down to the Red Light Distortion plugin and add that instead. And now if I add the tone generator, you'll see all of these additional harmonics on top of the fundamental note, right? And it still might sound kind of the same to you right now, but as soon as we try and apply this to an actual sound with more harmonic content, you'll hear a drastic difference. Let's take a look. So this is a new song I'm working on. We've actually recorded this over the weekend in one take. Me and a couple of my friends from Holland who brought their synthesizers to my studio and we were just jamming out. And this sound here really plays an important role in the entire arrangement, and thus I want to make it stand out more. And I could do that by boosting several frequencies, like the high frequencies would make more of an audible difference here, but just to show you the principle, if I solo this now and I apply an instance of Pro EQ, Boosting the lows doesn't really do much here, because this sound doesn't have any low frequency content to speak of. On the other hand, if I try to boost the high frequencies, this has a more audible effect, especially in the upper mid-range. With saturation, on the other hand, that doesn't really matter, because even if the frequencies aren't there yet, I can just generate that harmonic content from nothing. So I've just deactivated the Pro EQ here, I've activated red light distortion instead, and if I want to boost the low end of this sound, I could set the filter exactly in the range of the frequency that I want to boost, turn up the drive, and then turn down the mix dial to let the original signal back in. And now I've achieved a low frequency boost that wouldn't be possible if I just had an equalizer applied. So hopefully this gives you a better, more general understanding of the differences in boosting with equalizers and saturation. And thank you for watching.